This incredible gorge was a treacherous place where travellers feared to tread. Intrigued as to where we are? Find out in just a moment. On today's show, we're helping two dancing enthusiasts find a new groove in the countryside. One of our properties struggles to find rhythm. Do you like the location?
No. Too rural.
But then we get into the swing of things.
I could live here, easily.
Today I'm in Devon, and this is the amazing Lidford Gorge, the deepest of its kind in southwest England. It runs a 1.5 mile course all the way down to the 90-foot drop of the White Lady waterfall, passing through the Devil's Cauldron just behind me. Though back in the 17th century, it wasn't devils you had to worry about. It was the notorious band of Dartmoor outlaws called the Gubbins clan, who were famous, or indeed infamous, for murdering and robbing travellers brave enough to pass this way. Nowadays, of course, it's perfectly safe to enjoy this beautiful bit of Devon. When it comes to that mythical beast, the average detached house, then Devon's quite expensive, 20% above the national figure and currently standing at £290,000. Apart from a little blip in the 2008 recession, then house prices here have been on the steady increase for over 20 years. Now, investors know that it's very pricey by the coast. If you want a sea view, then you're going to have to add 50% to the county price. But the smart investors are heading inland to towns like Oakhampton and Holsworthy, where your budget will get a considerable boost. But what about our buyers today? Where are they looking to invest? Let's meet them and find out. Matthew and Anita have spent their 13 years together living in the West Midlands. Home is currently a rented 3-bedroom house in Coventry, but they've had enough of urban life.
We find cities too drab, too much concrete. We do find that the rush hour times, it's almost impossible to get out of this close. The traffic is bumper to bumper. So that's a real downside to living in Coventry.
With the children having flown the nest and Matthew leaving his job at a major car manufacturer, they're free to hit the road.
We both feel that Devon would be good for us. It's interesting, rolling countryside. There's an awful lot to do down there. It's just a lovely part of the country.
The couple met through work. Anita was looking for a lodger and posted an ad at the office. Matthew saw the notice, applied and moved in.
We got to know each other more and more while I was lodging there. And, yeah, we took it from there, really. Moved from the east wing to the west wing in the end.
And the rent went up.
And the rent went up.
It was a good match, as the couple share many interests.
We are both very, very keen motorcyclists, have been since we were very young. I've had a motorcycle since I was 17, and we still have motorcycles, plural. We have several motorcycles, too many maybe. And we just love motorcycling in all its forms.
When they're not riding, they're jiving.
We love dancing. We love rock and roll dancing.
Salsa, merengue.
Salsa, merengue, anything dancing we love. But we find that rock and roll dancing especially is a good way of meeting people, and we're hoping we can find other rock and roll clubs local to where we move to.
I find with rock and roll, you can really put your whole character into it. You can have such a laugh.
And with work no longer an issue, they're keen to fill their time when they move. And for that, they'll need space.
We would ideally want an annex so that we could do holiday let. But we are looking for a good-sized plot so we can have chickens again, gardening, vegetable patch, fruit trees would be wonderful. The outside space is really important to both of us.
I've been keeping bees for the last 18 months. They are fascinating creatures, and I'd like to expand that a little bit. In this garden, I've only got room, really, for 1, maybe 2 hives.
There'll also be a hive of activity in the kitchen.
I have always enjoyed baking, cooking, making sweets. I enjoy using produce from the garden, honey from the bees. My ideal would be to have a large kitchen where we could entertain in as well.
With their house now sold, all that's left is to find out how much is funding this dream move to Devon.
Our budget for this move is £500,000. But we could stretch it a bit further if there was an income from a holiday let.
We're concentrating our search in East Devon, close to the border with Dorset, as it offers the best value for money. And I've come to meet our buyers to discuss the specifics of the house. Good morning.
Good morning.
You have brought beautiful weather with you down to Devon. Well done.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the attraction of Devon? Why are you coming here?
You can't help but love it down here. It's just a no-brainer.
So what are you looking for in the house? What's the spec?
The house, I'd say 3 bedrooms, 1/4 of an acre, not on a main road.
A large garage, workshop,
Aha, you want a man cave.
a man cave, yes. Somewhere to tinker.
About 30 foot square, though.
30 foot square,
Yeah,
quite
large,
specific.
Yeah, or more.
A man hanger.
Yeah.
I heard a little property bird who told me that you were looking for an annex. What are you going to do with that?
An annex would be really useful, just for a bit of income. It would help us to buy a larger place. You know, if we could have a bit of income from a holiday let, holiday cottage, something like that.
So you're planning to use it as a holiday let, B&B, or as an actual let?
Not a B&B, as a let would be useful. B&B would be too much hard work, I think.
OK, so what's your budget? Because it is quite an expensive county.
The budget is around £500,000, but we could stretch it up to £530,000 if it had a bit of an income from it.
Okay. We always like to take the top budget, so £530,000.
Plus a bit.
Good. OK, well, we've got 3 lovely properties lined up. I hope that you'll like, well, all of them, but at least one of them. So come with me, the car's this way.
Thank you
Follow
very
me.
much.
Matthew and Anita have a budget of £500,000, but it could go up to £530,000 if the property comes with an income-generating holiday annex. The house needs to have 3 bedrooms and a good-sized kitchen for cooking and entertaining. They want at least 1/4 of an acre of outside space and a large garage or man shed for the motorbikes. We've got 3 fantastic houses to show our buyers here in Devon, but I won't be revealing the price until the end of each tour. Our mystery house doesn't give them everything they asked for, but there's lots more to consider instead. For our first property, we're heading to the hamlet of Tower Cross. The closest settlement for amenities is the attractive Georgian market town of Honiton, best known for its lace, which has been made here for 400 years. The high street is lined with shops, cafes and antique dealers, as well as 2 parish churches. Just a mile outside the town is our first house. This is it, house number 1.
It's absolutely beautiful.
We aim to please.
Good job.
All of it.
It's all of this, and then half of the big building as well.
Oh, so it's attached onto something else, another house?
Yes, absolutely.
Ah, right,
Yes.
OK, so it's not detached.
It's not detached.
It's very characterful, though.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It's a typical brick and flint Devon cottage, probably from the 1800s. This house, if you can see, you've got this rather extraordinary tower in the building next door,
Yes.
which is a folly, really. It was built by a local bishop. But it's a lovely addition to your garden, even though it doesn't belong to you.
Stunning.
Is it what you were
Is this
dreaming
the
of?
garden in its entirety?
This is the garden in the entire. It's not a massive amount of land. That's one of the compromises you'd have with this house.
Yes.
There are always compromises. So
Oozes character.
spot
I
on.
love it.
Spot on.
It's beautifully built, isn't it? And beautifully
Yes.
decorated inside. Shall we have a look?
Yes, please.
Despite the size of the garden, our semi-detached former coach house has created a good first impression. But for Anita in particular, it's all about the kitchen. And I'm keen to see if we got that right too. Straight out of a magazine, really.
It's lovely.
It is beautifully done.
Nice and light.
Good size.
So you've got the staircase that comes down into the kitchen, which is the old-fashioned way.
Smashing.
Very
Lovely.
impressive. Oak floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely. This would be the centre room. If we had people around for a meal, we would use this room.
Well, you haven't seen the other options.
No.
Come with me.
Thank you.
Come in. This is the house that keeps on giving, because this is a lovely room too. This would have been the extension. This is a small extension that they put on the end with a nice door out into the garden.
Yeah.
But this is their main sitting room. And then you've got the sort of dining area here if you wanted to have some formal dining.
Smashing.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's quite a modest footprint. In the sense it's not an absolutely massive house. Would that work for you?
It would, as it's only the two of us, apart from occasional visitors.
Yeah. Well, there's space for us to get away from each other occasionally.
Manshed.
Manshed, yeah, I think you might need to build a manshed. Although there is another option which we'll explore later on. Good, so thumbs up for this room?
Yes. Yes.
Falling in love?
Yes.
Like that?
Yes.
Well, let's pop upstairs and then I want to show you the added extra. The downstairs has options for a holiday let, which we'll explore later. But in the meantime, the upstairs of the property has 2 double bedrooms and a family bathroom built into the eaves. This is the master bedroom upstairs, at the back of the house. Does this fit the bill?
Bigger. Looking for bigger. It's beautifully laid out, but on the small side.
OK.
But there are other rooms, but yeah, it's lovely. Workable.
I don't think you need a big bedroom, really, personally.
No, OK.
Just...
That's because you don't have as many clothes. But the great thing about this house is that it has your annex/holiday let all built in.
Lovely.
Yes. Shall we go
Thank
and
you.
inspect?
Yes, please. After you.
Back downstairs, a ground floor wing beyond the kitchen could make excellent accommodation for holiday guests. It features a small study area, 2 further double bedrooms, and an additional bath and shower room. And at the end of the corridor, you have this rather nice guest room. They have it as a guest room. It could be anything.
Lovely.
That's a great guest room.
Yeah.
Really great.
Yeah.
So it's a very charming property.
It is, yes.
And this is, I think, a lovely addition. So you could put a door halfway down that corridor and just have it completely self-sufficient. You could maybe turn that little office into a kitchenette.
That's a good idea. Yeah, yeah.
And have this as a very simple sort of holiday let.
Yes.
Of course, the decision to run a holiday let or keep this section of the house for themselves will depend on the price. So it's back outside to reveal it, giving Matthew and Anita another chance to take in the garden, which includes a well-kept lawn, a decked area for entertaining, and a summer house. So you flagged the fact that the garden might be a bit small, but you do have this rather huge gravelled sort of carport area. And in the original photos of the property, there was a double garage here. So it wouldn't be difficult, I don't think, to get planning to put one in. A man shed.
A man shed, indeed.
How much do you think it's on the market for?
You go first.
Me first? I would guess at 480.
I would say, because it's quite close to Honiton, I would say just under 500,000.
Well, you're just about right. It's on at £495,000.
Oh.
It's been on a bit of a while, so there might be a bit of wiggle room there. It'd be nice for you to explore the inside a bit more thoroughly. So if you had to go back in, have a mosey around, and I'll see you at the front.
Yes, OK, thank you.
On the market for £495,000, our first property comes in under budget. It's a 200-year-old brick and flint former coach house. The contemporary interior includes a light and spacious kitchen and triple-aspect sitting room. The property comes with 4 good-sized bedrooms, 2 of which are in a ground floor wing of the house and could make an ideal holiday let. And there's space outside to build a double garage, subject to the correct planning consents.
My first thoughts, I was blown away by the outside impression. Absolutely oozes character. I loved it, inside and outside. I'd say from a percentages point of view, 85% of it is fantastic. The only downside is the size of garden and general storage space within the house.
First impressions were wonderful. When we first walked into the garden, I thought, what a beautiful house. To me, the annex area wouldn't really work as an annex, in that it's so attached to the house and there is no separate garden area for any guests. But because of the price, it wouldn't need to be an annex, so I think that would just become part of the house.
You can understand why Anita would be reluctant to restructure this garden, because it does look so beautiful as it is. But needs must. Hello.
Hi.
Have you seen everything you need to see inside?
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
we have. Yeah.
Good. Well, we have another property for you to look at.
Thank you.
Come with me. from the granite moorlands of Dartmoor, much of Devon's landscape is given over to farming, and there's a strong agricultural tradition in the county. It's perhaps not surprising then that the Devonshire countryside is home to a unique school, offering courses in eco-friendly, sustainable gardening and farming. With Matthew and Anita's desire to grow their own produce and live off the land, we sent them to meet Jonty Williams at the School of Husbandry in Bickington to learn some practical rural skills.
Well, what does the term husbandry actually mean?
It's not only looking after the land, looking after animals, looking after plants, looking after the ecology that goes in the soils, looking after the water. It's making the connections between everything that sustains us. But it's also vitally important that we sort of get us modern urban people get an understanding of agriculture as something that is a human scale thing that we can all be involved in.
One of the most important aspects of husbandry is good soil management, getting the most from the land and ensuring nothing is wasted. Matthew and Anita are joining Jonty's wife, Carol, in the garden to find out more about one of these principles, called Three Sisters Planting.
Hi, Carol.
Hi.
So what are you doing here?
Hi, well, I'm planting up a Three Sisters bed.
Yeah, three sisters.
Three sisters, yeah. So this means that the sweet corn and the beans and the squash are all good companions. They're all good for each other. So the sweet corn provides the nice strong stem for the beans to climb up. The beans add the nitrogen to the soil. And the pumpkins and squashes run underneath, keep the moisture in, the weeds down. So they all work very well, looking after each other.
For a beginner doing this, is there a good all-rounder plant that would make a good companion for this companion planting?
They tend to be quite specific, so if you need to have your pollinators in the garden. So anything that's going to encourage bees and pollinators, like borage, I'd say is the best all-rounder.
Yes,
So how about we do some planting and plant some Three Sisters?
Yeah, sure.
So we've got some pumpkins to go in here, and some sweet corn, and then we've got some lovely Indian climbing beans as well to go in.
As well as mutually beneficial planting techniques, Carol uses some inventive and environmentally friendly means of pest control.
Looking after them and keeping off pests, we can use vegetables that we're growing in the garden. So we can make a spray from garlic. We can just chop it up, add it into water, either into your watering can to water on your crops, or as a spray as well.
Matthew and Anita are enthusiastically embracing the art of husbandry, but we need to find them their own plot of land to tend, and it's time to get back to the house hunt. For our second offering, we're heading 4 miles south to the hamlet of Northley. It's located 3 miles from the small town of Collerton in the Axe Valley, with its wealth of attractive stone and thatched houses lining the narrow streets. Collerton has a reputation for being a rebel town. During the reign of Henry VIII, the locals managed to retain a degree of independence from national government. The impressive church was built in the 15th century when Collerton was one of the richest wool towns in the county. Around 10 minutes' drive from the town, located in a former farm complex, is our second home. So we've travelled about 3 miles down the Coley Valley and up and down the Vale. Amazing views.
Yeah.
Are these the sort of views you were hoping for?
Stunning.
Yeah, stunning.
But you're in, as you can see, you're in a sort of little kind of commune of houses. There are 6 properties, and the one I want to show you is this one.
Oh.
All of the stone house and this house as well. Do you like the style of it? Do you like the location?
No. Too rural for me.
What do you think of the style of it?
Lovely. Natural stone, natural slate.
So there's a bit of a tussle about the location.
Yes.
But maybe the house will win you over once we get inside.
Yeah, we'll see.
There you go.
Thank you.
Our second house was at one time an old cider barn, and although the location might be a sticking point, I'm pretty sure the property's refurbished interior will impress. Coming in from the heat into the kitchen.
Yeah, lovely.
So it's been sort of done up to very high spec. You've got a gas oven, although the house is heated with underfloor heating. So what do you think?
Yes.
Beautiful. It is good.
Pleasing, very pleasing.
So you can open the doors out into the sort of terrace.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah,
You love it.
Could feel at home.
I like it.
You like it?
Yes.
Do you love it?
I could love it.
Let's continue down these steps into the main living space.
Okay.
Yes.
This is lovely.
Yeah.
Again, you've got a galleried step, but this time down into this raised dining space. And again, you've got underfloor heating here. Then another step down to the sort of lounge space with a big log burner.
I'm feeling it.
You're feeling it?
Yeah. It's lovely. I could live here, easily.
Well, you've got a utility around here. If you go through the door, there's a kind of sort of smallish utility with all your white goods and stuff, or a boot room out into the garden.
That's good.
Are you warming to it?
I love it, yes, I do.
And it also has 3 bedrooms in the main house. Let's have a look. And of those 3, 2 are good-sized double bedrooms, and there's 1 single, along with a family bathroom. This is what they've used as the master bedroom because it has an ensuite and a walk-in wardrobe.
Oh.
Of course, they all have, but this one particularly has amazing views.
Fantastic views.
And it's a good size.
What do you think about the size?
It depends how big the walk-in wardrobe is.
Quite big. Have a peek.
Yes.
This is one of the reasons we brought you here, partly because of the views and partly because of the sort of size. But obviously, one of the big selling points is what's next door. So let's check that out.
Thank you.
As well as the main house, this property comes with its own separate 1-bedroom annex, which, with permission, could be turned into a holiday let. Come on in. What you've got here is a totally self-contained holiday let.
Oh, that's really neat.
Kitchen, sitting room. Upstairs you've got a lovely bedroom, skylights and a bathroom, obviously. Downstairs toilet. And doors opening into their own private garden.
Lovely. Absolutely lovely.
Already up and running.
Yeah.
So
Does this mean you've stretched the budget then?
well, let's talk about budget and let's step outside. To the rear of the annex, decking leads onto a reasonably sized lawn area with far-reaching views over the surrounding countryside. So obviously this is a big selling point, the view. And your guests would have this decked area to step out to. But the whole of this plot is yours, so all the way up to the shed there, to the garages, and then down to that beech hedge at the bottom. Is it enough for you?
No.
Not enough.
It's on the small side.
I think that this house is not suiting you because of the location. And the final factor, of course, is how much it costs.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts about that?
I would guess that because it's a little bit out of town, a bit of a distance away, around 465,000.
I would say £480,000.
Well, you are almost exactly right. It is £50 short of £480,000. If your heart is set against the location, that's not going to win you over.
No. It's interesting property, though.
Yeah. Why don't you have a look around? Because we haven't looked upstairs. There are some more rooms in the main house.
Yes.
I will see you at the front.
Thank you very much.
Take a step through. It's very interesting. I think when there's a reason why you don't want to buy a house, there are then 100 reasons why you shouldn't buy it. I think that might be what's going on. Well below budget at just under £480,000, our second property is part of a former cider farm. The accommodation features generous living spaces, including a large kitchen and a combined sitting and dining area. It has 3 bedrooms and a separate annex that could be easily turned into a holiday let with its own private garden. All set in a rural location with far-reaching views of the surrounding countryside.
That's bigger than you think, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely and light.
That's good.
Wardrobe space.
Yeah. I love it. Really love the property. The annex is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And I can see that it would rent easily. The main house is less glamorous than the last house and more functional, rustic, which really suits our style, our lifestyle.
The interior of the property was beautiful. The whole layout, very, very nice indeed. Very modern, clean, light. A good percentage of my feeling deflated was due to the location of the property. It was just too far out.
Oh, there they are.
Oh.
Too many houses, couldn't find you. Are you all done?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's great.
Well, that's your lot for the day. We've
Yes.
seen both the properties.
Yeah, thank you.
Time for some reflection.
It's been an interesting day.
Good. It's day 2 of our property hunt, and on a budget of £500,000, we're helping Matthew and Anita from Coventry live out their rural dream in Devon. Coming up, the mystery house gives them less of what they originally wanted, but more of something else.
My goodness.
Oh my goodness, you said.
Yes, it's just wonderful, isn't it?
And I discover Britain's maritime past through the power of song.
Dilly dilly dum dilly dum dum dilly 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 dum day.
Day 2 of our property search here in Devon, and I'm realising that Anita, at least, is experiencing moving goalpost syndrome, which is perfectly natural when you start looking at houses on the ground after thinking about them on paper. So some things become more important and some less. For example, the annex, probably not as crucial as we imagined, and the garden much more important, as is location. I think Anita found that house yesterday a little too remote. So the mystery house, well, it could go either way. It does have more land. There's a question mark over the annex, but it is more remote. So let's find out. I was interested in the annex, the holiday let. I got the impression yesterday it wasn't quite as important as perhaps we pegged it as. Is that a fair comment, or...?
No, it's not overly important. It could be a useful way of meeting people, socialising. It could be a little bit of an income. But no, it's not important. We'd be quite happy without it.
For our mystery house, we're leaving the east of the county and heading to the north of Dartmoor, to the village of Zeal Monacorum. The closest settlement for services is the market town of North Taunton, with its range of independent shops and eating establishments. Former poet laureate Ted Hughes lived in the village for much of his life. A short drive away is the location of our mystery house in a village whose Latin name means Cell of the Monks, Zeal Monacorum. It's just as well Matthew and Anita aren't fixed on the annex, as our mystery property doesn't come with one at the moment. But it does offer them land. And it's a thatched cottage dating back to the 15th century. You wanted some land?
Oh boy.
Here it is.
Absolutely stunning. The view is phenomenal.
It's an enormous plot of land. It's an acre. It's just over an acre, 1.2 acres, plus the land, plus the house. And you just got these incredible views. This is the Tor Valley, and right on the edge on the horizon, you can actually see Exmoor. It's a little bit hazy here, so you can see a big, clear swoop over Devon.
Fantastic.
Matthew, are you equally enamoured?
I love it. Absolutely love it. Couldn't be better.
Well, we're going to explore these outhouses, but obviously I will want to show you the house as well, so come with me. Well, we seem to have got it right with the outside space, but there's still the house to consider, and it's one that's packed with character. We're going straight into the kitchen, because that's the country heart of the home.
Oh. My goodness.
Oh my goodness, you said.
Yes, it's just wonderful, isn't it? It's just lovely. The perfect country kitchen.
Yeah.
Flagstone floors, table in the middle.
Smashing.
Wonderful.
This is the most modern part of the house, actually, so we're going backwards through history. This used to be a sort of corrugated iron tin shed where they stored vintage cars. But the present owner's done quite a lot of work. They put up these lovely rafters. A good one, so this is all good?
Yes.
That's the bill. All right. Well, we're going to look at the old side of the house. It's a bit low, you might have to mind your head.
Okay.
Also on the ground floor, there's a utility room off the kitchen and a downstairs family bathroom with a freestanding roll-top bath. As we make our way to the other end of the house, we pass further reception areas, a cosy snug, and a dining room with a log burner. Coming through right into the old part. Actually, that's the oldest part. Matthew, can you clear it?
Not quite.
Not quite. So dip
Come
under.
on.
Just have to be.
But, so you've got the low beams and you've got a great big fireplace.
Love it.
It's cosy but not small. It's lovely.
But what's great
By the way.
is that through here you've got a little bedroom and an ensuite.
Oh.
It's got great options, this house.
Yes. Yeah.
So you could have this as a sort of a little guest wing
Yeah.
for people who are staying, so they could
Yes.
keep from under your feet.
Yeah, very, very good.
Yeah.
Well done.
All beams.
Yeah.
I mean, you're all beams, and there are all beams here as well. This rabbit warren of a property has 2 flights of stairs. One leads directly to the master suite. Now, this is an interesting room because you can see it's galleried. There's actually a little sort of loft space up there where you could put your clothes.
Yeah.
Through there is a sort of Jack and Jill ensuite.
Right.
So, and in here is a walk-in closet.
Oh.
Right, now let's go through the rabbit hole. Now this is low, so you will have to duck. As we weave our way through the house, we pass 2 further bedrooms, one double and a single, before heading back down the other flight of stairs to check out the grounds again. Well, this is the cherry on the cake, really. This is, well, it's not an annex. It is a garden shed. And it's for storing, you know, your bits and bobs and your bikes, and you might want to keep it for that.
Okay.
So there's the possibility further down the line, maybe, that you could convert this.
Yeah, it looks quite big enough for both. Maybe to fit in some accommodation into it and to use it as a workshop, garage, storage.
You might just want it as your massive man cave.
Yeah, why share this with anyone?
But if it's maximum budget, then we need some income to justify the expense.
That's right.
Well, you have brought us on to the thorny subject of the budget.
Yes.
So, what do you think the mystery house is worth?
£530,000.
Top of the budget. I would say more than that. I would say it's over budget, yes. I would say £560,000.
Oh, no. Oh, heartbreak. This property is on the market for £525,000. So it's in budget
We'll have it.
with £5,000 to spare.
Thank you. Sit then.
That's great. That's
A great look of relief
Job
on your
done.
face. Job done.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether you need to look around anymore, but there are
Yes,
some
yes.
lovely sort of buildings at the bottom, which you could also think about
Yes, please.
doing something with. And also a couple of rooms upstairs.
Yeah.
So head back in,
Thank
have an
you.
explore.
Yes.
I'll see you outside with
Thank
the
you.
checkbook.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you later.
Our mystery house, priced at £525,000, is just under Matthew and Anita's maximum budget. It's a 400-year-old thatched cottage with 4 bedrooms. The downstairs features a modern kitchen and 3 further reception rooms. And the 1.2 acres of land includes a substantial garden, paddock, and a large shed that could be converted into a holiday let, subject to planning permission.
I absolutely love the mystery house. Everything about it. The character, the garden. The downstairs rooms, I think, have been very tastefully added onto this property. It just brings all flavours, contemporary style, rustic, and the genuine 15th century style. It all moulds together really well.
As a mystery house, this is, my goodness, this is a big success. We've just loved it, absolutely loved it. I know that Anita really has, and I've fallen for it as well.
Here they come, all smiles. Still enthused?
Yes.
Good. Well, I'd like you to ride the wave of your enthusiasm back to the car, and I'll catch up with you later.
Thank you.
As the only English county with 2 separate coastlines, Devon is proud of its strong seafaring heritage. But the leisure vessels and appealing fishing boats that populate the historic harbours belie the hardship of a working life at sea at a time when the country relied on its sailing fleet. And the story of Britain's maritime past can be told through its sea songs, or shanties. I've come to the fishing town of Brixham to meet a group of local fishermen and singers who are rediscovering this unique musical tradition. I'm meeting their spokesman, Kevin Sessions.
Have a seat.
Oh, great spot. Tell me all about the sea shanty, because I grew up by the sea, but I'm actually not very familiar with the history of them.
Well, basically, they're songs to keep guys in time, just keep maintaining a rhythm when they're actually doing a job that required them working together, you know, pulling ropes and things like that. And they all have a slightly different, a short, jerky rhythm or a long one, just depending on what the job was. They would make them up as they go along, and I mean, most of it is unprintable, so it's been sanitised dramatically for the market nowadays.
In the 19th century, the arrival of steam-powered ships meant fewer manual tasks on board, and the shanties lost their practical purpose, so the tradition slowly died out. But the maritime work song is undergoing a bit of a revival, and a number of groups have sprung up, including Kevin's, the Old Gaffers Sea Shanty Crew. And they have some unusual nicknames.
Oh, a night with the girls wouldn't do us any harm.
Oh, a night with the girls wouldn't do us any harm.
Oh, a night with the girls wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind. So we'll roll the old chariots along. We'll roll the old chariots along. We'll roll the old chariots along. And we'll all hang on behind.
Well done, Old Gaffers. Good to meet you. Who's nice that you've all got your own names.
All got our own nicknames, yeah.
Master Chunder, that's not your real name.
That's not my real name. That's just, we all decided we was all going to have nicknames. Add a bit of fun to it, and obviously I don't do boats very well. I feel a bit of a farce, really, singing sea shanties, and I don't do boats.
A wet mat.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Now, the song we just heard, Roll
the Old Chariot.
What would have they been doing when they were doing that? What sort of a shanty is that?
So it's I think it's a halyard shanty. I think they were pulling up the sails and getting the, and when the boat was actually travelling, they say it was rolling along, and so they're actually getting the sails up and getting the thing on the move.
Let's have some more music. Is there anything I can join in on?
Well, we could do Willie Taylor. Yeah. Willie Taylor's got a simple chorus.
And what can I do? Is there any
join in the chorus?
Join in the chorus.
Yeah. It's dead easy.
It's dead easy. Yeah.
Dilly dilly dum dilly dum dum dilly.
Very good. I can manage that.
Dilly dum dum day.
I think I can manage that. I'll sing along.
Willie Taylor and his true love, full of mirth and loyalty, were going to the church to be married. He was pressed and sent to sea.
Dilly dilly dum dum dilly, dilly dilly dum dum day. Dilly dilly dum dum dilly, dilly dilly dum day. Dilly dilly dum dum dilly, dilly dilly dum day.
Woohoo! Aren't we good? That is a great story, and it's a beautiful song. Well done, guys. Lovely. And the sun's come out.
And the sun's come over us, yeah.
It's clear that Kevin and his crew are proud of the traditional sea shanty, and long may it continue. Now it's time for us to find out whether we've been in harmony with Matthew and Anita during our house hunt. So it was touch and go yesterday whether we would find anything that fitted Anita and Matthew's bill, but we pulled it out of the hat with the mystery house and got a bullseye. All we need to do now is find out what happens next. Cutting to the chase, have you bought the mystery house yet?
Not yet.
In my mind, I have.
Have you?
Yes.
It's great, because I have to say, yesterday I thought we'd lost you. I thought, oh dear, we're not able to give you anything that you want. And what turned it around?
It had everything, especially the outside garden space, and oozed character.
The inside of the house was laid out nicely, which helped. Good-sized rooms. Everything was good.
It is slightly more rural than I would have chosen, but all things considered, I just love the place.
What are your plans for the next few days?
We've got to go back to home tonight. Then we're going to have long discussions, telephone conversations, Obviously, there are a few questions we've got to ask about various practicalities, and we'll take it from there. Probably come down again during the weekend.
Were there any things along the way that sort of fell out of focus? I'm thinking particularly about the annex.
We were quite serious about having an annex with some income potential when we first came down here, but yeah, thinking it through in the last few days, it's sort of, yeah, fallen off the shelf. We're not so worried about it now. And we know that we have the possibility with this house, if we do go ahead with this house. There's the building. Permission should hopefully go through if we want to do it.
And what's the first thing you're going to do with that land? Because that really moved you when you saw the land, huh?
Turn it into a flower meadow for the bees and get some more beehives going.
Hey, power.
Yes.
Bee power, we love
Yes.
that.
Flower power.
To say I was a bit startled by the intensity of Anita's reaction to the mystery house, but having spent the week with her and Matthew, I realised that there are a couple that don't do shades of grey. It's black or white. So although we have lots of people who say they're putting an offer, I actually really think they will end up buying it. Watch this space. And make sure you watch it next time for more Escape to the Country. After returning home, Matthew and Anita thought long and hard about the mystery house, and though they loved our thatched cottage, they were worried about the maintenance of it in the future. So I'm happy to report that they've since found a property in neighbouring Dorset. If you'd like to escape to the country in Scotland, Wales, England, Northern Ireland, or even further afield to the continent, then please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be-on-a-ship. This incredible gorge was a treacherous place where travellers feared to tread. Intrigued as to where we are? Find out in just a moment. On today's show, we're helping two dancing enthusiasts find a new groove in the countryside. One of our properties struggles to find rhythm. Do you like the location?
No. Too rural.
But then we get into the swing of things.
I could live here, easily.
Today I'm in Devon, and this is the amazing Lidford Gorge, the deepest of its kind in southwest England. It runs a 1.5 mile course all the way down to the 90-foot drop of the White Lady waterfall, passing through the Devil's Cauldron just behind me. Though back in the 17th century, it wasn't devils you had to worry about. It was the notorious band of Dartmoor outlaws called the Gubbins clan, who were famous, or indeed infamous, for murdering and robbing travellers brave enough to pass this way. Nowadays, of course, it's perfectly safe to enjoy this beautiful bit of Devon. When it comes to that mythical beast, the average detached house, then Devon's quite expensive, 20% above the national figure and currently standing at £290,000. Apart from a little blip in the 2008 recession, then house prices here have been on the steady increase for over 20 years. Now, investors know that it's very pricey by the coast. If you want a sea view, then you're going to have to add 50% to the county price. But the smart investors are heading inland to towns like Oakhampton and Holsworthy, where your budget will get a considerable boost. But what about our buyers today? Where are they looking to invest? Let's meet them and find out. Matthew and Anita have spent their 13 years together living in the West Midlands. Home is currently a rented 3-bedroom house in Coventry, but they've had enough of urban life.
We find cities too drab, too much concrete. We do find that the rush hour times, it's almost impossible to get out of this close. The traffic is bumper to bumper. So that's a real downside to living in Coventry.
With the children having flown the nest and Matthew leaving his job at a major car manufacturer, they're free to hit the road.
We both feel that Devon would be good for us. It's interesting rolling countryside. There's an awful lot to do down there. It's just a lovely part of the country.
The couple met through work. Anita was looking for a lodger and posted an ad at the office. Matthew saw the notice, applied and moved in.
We got to know each other more and more while I was lodging there. And, yeah, we took it from there, really. Moved from the east wing to the west wing in the end.
And the rent went up.
And the rent went up.
It was a good match, as the couple share many interests.
We are both very, very keen motorcyclists, have been since we were very young. I've had a motorcycle since I was 17, and we still have motorcycles, plural. We have several motorcycles, too many maybe. And we just love motorcycling in all its forms.
When they're not riding, they're jiving.
We love dancing. We love rock and roll dancing.
Salsa, merengue.
Salsa, merengue, anything dancing we love. But we find that rock and roll dancing especially is a good way of meeting people, and we're hoping we can find other rock and roll clubs local to where we move to.
I find with rock and roll, you can really put your whole character into it. You can have such a laugh.
And with work no longer an issue, they're keen to fill their time when they move. And for that, they'll need space.
We would ideally want an annex so that we could do holiday let. But we are looking for a good sized plot so we can have chickens again, gardening, vegetable patch, fruit trees would be wonderful.